In the last video, we had come up with a result to find the pressure difference that is being applied on an object immersed in a fluid by the fluid. So let us look at a demonstration here, and then we'll connect the results of the previous video and what we can see here in this demonstration. So here I have a bowl. This is a glass bowl, so that you can so it's clear, so that you can see through it what's going on. And what I'll do here is I'll take a plate and put the bowl inside the plate so that I can collect the water that I'll tell you why I'm putting a plate there. So I'll fill the bowl up with some water. So now I have the bowl completely filled up with water up to the brim, and what I'd now like to do is, so here I have an object. This is a cuboidal object, and what I'd like to do is, now I'd like to immerse this object into this water. And obviously we know that when I do this, some of the water, because the bowl is completely filled up with water, the water would start overflowing, right? Now how much water would overflow? Well, we've done that same demonstration while studying about volume of objects, and there we had seen that if I immerse, let's say half of the, let's say if I immerse completely, and this has a volume of, let's say 500 ml, so 500 ml of water will come out of this, will overflow out of this bowl. Why? Because that is the amount. So what is volume? Volume is the space that is occupied by some object. So if this object occupies a space of 500 ml, so it needs 500 ml of space inside this bowl. So 500 ml of water will flow out to create that 500 ml of space to fit this object inside, right? So keep in mind, when I put this in, the water that overflows is equal to, so that water will be so the volume of water that overflows will be equal to the volume of this object. So I put it in, and as I expected, water is overflowing. And if I leave it, yeah, I've immersed it completely, and I can let it go, and obviously it will sink to the bottom of the, yeah, so there you go. And I have collected some water here in the plate below, and that the volume of water collected below will be equal to the volume of the object that I've immersed. Now an interesting thing to note, and this is something that you can try at your homes also, is that if you hold the object out of water, it feels heavier than when you hold it inside water. Inside water it feels lighter, here it feels heavier. Here, as I immerse it, it gets lighter, and see, it falls down slowly also. Why? Because the acceleration is less underwater. Now let me explain why that happens. So in the last video we had seen that when an object is immersed in water, it experiences pressure from all sides, but because pressure depends on the depth at which we are measuring it, so the pressure on the top of this object is less than the pressure at the bottom of the object, and therefore this net upwards force that is acting on this object, because the pressure on the lower part of the object is higher than the pressure on the top part. So the pressure pushing it downwards is less than the pressure pushing it upwards, and we had found an expression for the force that is pushing it upwards, and we know that that force that is pushing it upwards is called the buoyant force. So what is the expression for the buoyant force? Well, it is equal to mass of the volume of water that can be filled inside the volume of this object. So let me make sense of what that means. So the expression was buoyant force equals mass of the water that can be contained in the volume of the object times gravitational acceleration. So G is simple to understand, but what is the expression mass of water that can be contained in the volume of the object? So what is the volume of this object? Well, the volume of this object is equal to the volume of water displaced outside, right? The point is here is that the volume of this object is equal to the volume of water that has overflowed out of this bowl. And this volume of water that has overflowed is equal to the volume of this object. And if I find the mass of this water that has overflowed, that mass is the mass that is in the expression for buoyant force. So what does that expression say? It is the mass of fluid that can be contained in the volume of the object. What is contained in the volume of the object? It means it is equal to the volume of the object. So the volume of the object and the volume of this water is the same. And if you find the mass of this water that has been overflowed, if you put that in the expression for buoyant force, we get the buoyant force. So buoyant force is equal to the mass of water overflowed times gravitational acceleration. And what is mass and gravitational acceleration? Well, that is simply weight. So what does the expression actually tell me? It simply tells that the buoyant force experienced by this object inside is equal to the weight of the water that the object displaces or it overflow. It makes that water overflow. So it has displaced some water, right? It has changed the position of water. The water that was inside the bowl is now outside the bowl. So the weight of water that the object has displaced, that weight, so an equivalent force will be acting on this object in the upwards direction and is called the buoyant force. So I hope that now starts to make some sense. And this is a case when I had completely immersed the object. So what happens if I immerse this object half underwater? Well, now only half of the object is underwater, so only that volume which is underwater, only that volume of this of the water would so only that volume of the object that is underwater, an equivalent volume of water would be displaced. So if only half the object is immersed, only half the volume would be displaced of water, and thus the weight of the water displaced would be half, and thus the buoyant force would be half. So what you experience when you put this inside water is that as you keep on immersing it into water, as you go deeper and deeper, it feels lighter and lighter. Why does it feel lighter? Well, because the weight of this object is acting in this direction, and as I go deeper into water, the buoyant force that is acting in this direction increases, and some of the weight, the force due to its weight, is getting cancelled by the buoyant force, and that's why it is feeling lighter. But why does it drown? Well, because the maximum buoyant force, which is when it is completely immersed, is still less than the weight of the object, and the object drowns. But obviously, see, the acceleration is less when it drops underwater. Why is that less? Because the net force acting on the object is less, and we know that acceleration is proportional to force, so the acceleration is also less. So that is the basic idea behind the buoyant force, and this is how we can interpret the expression for buoyant force. Buoyant force is simply equal to the weight of water displaced by an object. Not just water, it could be any fluid. In this case, it is water. So that is the basic idea of buoyant force, and that's it for this video. And in the next video, we'll be looking at what determines. So in this video, we've seen how can we determine if anything will float or not. So if we put it inside, if the buoyant force is higher or equal to the weight of the object, then it will obviously float. And if the weight of the object is more than the buoyant force, then the object drowns. So in the next video, we'll look at this phenomena in a bit more detail, and we'll connect this to a relative density of the object. So that's it for this video.